Are you an altcoin holder wondering how this chart is ever going to break out? If it's ever going to break out, it's definitely required patience, but I'm going to explain the ingredients in this video for the breakout. Breaking right now, JP Morgan expects the Fed to end QT during this month's FOMC meeting, which is next week. That's one ingredient. This is the real cause of the 4-year cycle, huge bursts in year-over-year liquidity. Guess what happens in 2026? This goes against everything that the Bitcoin 4-year cycle thesis says. This is an ingredient. Here's an ingredient. A staggering $7.5 trillion is now sitting in money market funds, a new all-time high. Here's an ingredient. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong says there's a strong bipartisan support to pass the Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill. It has required patience, everybody. But I think we are just getting started. I want to talk about all of these things. I want to look at the altcoin market cap chart. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. If you're a macro investor, if you're not in our intelligence system, click the link below. Get set up with a free trial. See the tools that we have back there. If you think we're going to get a bull market and you want to be able to exit and sell and take profits and not round trip a bull market, use our risk models that are back here so that you can set alerts at the proper risk areas to start taking profits when the move happens. We have the free trial still going on right now. Click the link below. So this was just happening as I was preparing the video. JP Morgan expects the Fed to end QT during this month's FOMC meeting. I think, it's telling that there's all of these things going on, right? But right now there's a lot of, doom and gloom headlines that have been kind of taking the spotlight lately, like the shutdown, like the liquidations that happened a week or two ago. But there is a lot of ingredients right now just mixing together. This is one of them. Remember, once the Fed has this meeting next week, and I don't know what Jerome Powell is going to say, right? But we start getting just these decreases in rate cuts. We start getting closer to QT coming to an end. I'm going to show you what that looks like on this altcoin chart. This is what matters. And that's why I wanted to bring up this post from Jesse, because I think it is so relevant. This goes against everything that the 4-year cycle Bitcoin thesis says. Huge bursts in year-over-year liquidity. And you can see this chart. This actually overlays very nicely with kind of where we've been. We've seen higher highs, higher lows, but no parabolic bull run in crypto. If you see over here, right? You can go to any chart. I think something like a Cardano chart illustrates it very nicely. Just look at this. This is exactly what this liquidity chart is saying. This is Bitcoin and M2 growth global of year over year. So the other thing is this, and this is really, I'm going to take a little bit of time to discuss this. A staggering $7.5 trillion is now sitting in money market funds, a new all-time high. You might be like, well, why is that bullish? I'm going to show you. And then I want to just discuss this Brian Armstrong post that I just saw, or news that I just saw coming out. So I saw this post from Grant Cardone yesterday, and I liked it because it's just very simple. $7 trillion sitting in money markets. As rates come down, that $7 trillion will go somewhere. Where? Gold, Bitcoin, real estate, stocks, crypto. So then to take this to a deeper level, I saw this post as well yesterday. The $7.4 trillion detonator, America's hidden liquidity bomb about to obliterate every market assumption. I need to take some notes on that title. That is a very punchy title. The most dangerous number in financial history is hiding in plain sight. $7.4 trillion parked in money market funds. Everybody, I know I'm reading right now, but I want to discuss what it is on the altcoin chart. But this is so important. If you're a serious macro investor, this is so important. Not in real estate, not in gold, not in Bitcoin, all this money. It's in idle treasury bills earning 5% plus, waiting for a single Federal Reserve decision to unleash the largest capital reallocation event in human civilization. When the Fed cuts 150 to 200 basis points, money market fund income collapses by $100 to $140 billion annually. That lost yield must hunt returns somewhere. So here's speculation, and this is, well, we're going to get to the speculation, but this is basically 1998. What happened with all of that money when there were Fed cuts? Tech bubble ignites. 2003, housing mania begins. 2009, everything rallies 300+%. 2025, that's the question. And we're going to explore this kind of on this chart as well, the altcoin market cap chart in just a minute. But the post goes on, double the 2009 powder keg. But now Bitcoin exists as 24/7 institutional grade scarcity with ETF rails. Guess what? Not just Bitcoin with the ETF rails. Ethereum has ETF rails. Altcoins like Cardano, they're going to have ETF rails. Do you see what's happening right now in the macro? It's no use wasting time being frustrated that we've not gotten a parabolic run just like every other cycle. There's no use. There's a different story in play this cycle. We're in a whole new, different territory right now. But the post goes on, this is kind of the last part of it. If 5% rotates of that money, Bitcoin 280 to 350. If 10% rotates, Bitcoin 550 to 700. If 15% with sovereign buying, Bitcoin a million plus. That's speculative, obviously. But the point remains. When that money gets unlocked because it needs to go somewhere, because it doesn't want to sit in that money in the money market funds as rates start coming down, what happens to crypto? And the other question is, as things like this are happening, check this clip out. I just saw this morning. This is Brian Armstrong.
Crypto, want to see it get done. And so one date we heard floated was, let's try to get this markup done before Thanksgiving. I think that there's 90% of the issues are already aligned on and agreed, and there's draft text going back and forth, a lot of great cross.
So markup done by Thanksgiving. That doesn't mean the bill is just passing, right? That could, maybe we get the markup, it's agreed, everything's done, and then it could be in the coming weeks. Maybe it takes some months. But everybody, whether it's Q4 getting passed or going into 2026, as all of these other things are happening and QT is coming to an end, what do you think? Do you not see opportunity here? Because I do. And that's why I'm doing these videos, because this is completely my opinion. I always say I could be wrong, okay? I realize that. I'm personally managing my own risk in that regard. But it is so, to me, it is so much more risky to not be in this market right now. We've waited years for this. And by the way, the years of waiting has been higher highs and higher lows. It could have been worse. This is QT. All of this that's been happening. And that's what I want to draw your attention to, because I did this kind of yesterday's video on Bitcoin. I put all of these QE, QT areas on the chart to give a sense of, man, when is Bitcoin and crypto running? Well, here's what it looks like on the altcoin market cap chart. And I continue to be impressed that even through years of QT and indecisiveness and back and forth, and Jerome Powell, I think, not doing his job very well, that's just my opinion. I say it respectfully. I think the rate cuts have taken too long. It's pretty impressive that this altcoin market cap chart is actually where it is. And we've not entered a post-QT environment. So back here in the bull market of like 2017, that was a post-quantitative easing normalization phase. I've talked about this a lot on the YouTube channel. You can go, if we go to the Fed balance sheet chart, what that looks like is basically just this area where you're not in QT, you're not in QE, you're just kind of in this normalization phase. That was a bull market happening there. And I think it's very important to know that, because when you go to the chart, we know very simply, just looking at a quantitative tightening, just the Fed taking liquidity out of markets with their policy, we know bear markets happen. We know when just crazy QE is happening, just crazy bull markets happen, right? And this is what we've seen. But what happens in a post-QT? Meaning maybe we're not so much going right into QE and quantitative easing. Well, I think our best indicator is a post-QE normalization. And I'm not saying it's exact, but I think it's something to pay attention to. When these constraints just kind of stop that the Fed has had all these years, and we have alignment with all of these other things, I think post-QT could be very bullish. While ETF rails are being unlocked for altcoins and Bitcoin, and just that whole crypto space continues to grow. It is so early right now. This chart that you're looking at, this is excluding Bitcoin and stablecoins. It's just above $1 trillion. That is a very early market for crypto. This is crypto, everybody. So if you want to know, or you want to just get a sense of how a breakout out of this multi-year compression can happen, these are the ingredients. And I tried to condense this to be very quick. I didn't want to make this too long of a video, but you can see it took me 10 minutes to lay out kind of the bullish possibilities for crypto right now. And these are just some of the ingredients. And I wanted to bring that to you today because there's a lot going on. There's high fear in the market right now. Sentiment has never looked so bad, but now is the time to present to you this information. For me, it's important to focus on this information as well. So these are my thoughts today. Hit the subscribe and like if you're not a subscriber and enjoyed this video. And if you enjoyed the video, if you're finding the data useful and you are a macro investor, get back into our intelligence system right now. Click the link below. We have the free trial going on right now, and start planning your exits with your altcoins that you might hold, or Bitcoin, whatever it is. All unemotional data back there. So appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.